that this lady must have delivered poisonous milk. So then the investigation started. Then what happened? You know, we must find the perpetrator of this crime. The baby has died. So it seems that what had happened is that while this lady was delivering the milk, she was walking along a river to come to the village. And while she was walking along a river, there was a snake also going along the river. And there was an eagle flying on top of it, right? This whole scene. And the eagle, to feed itself, dropped and picked up the snake, right? And while it picked up the snake was trying to free itself. Obviously, it doesn't want to die. And in that struggle, the eagle happened to puncture the poison pouch. And the poison started dripping, and it fell in the pot, right? So milk became poisonous. Does that make sense? And this lady unknowingly goes there and delivers the milk. So, you know, there was a committee to determine whose fault it is now that the baby has died, right? So then the first person said, well, it's the woman's fault. You know, she delivered the poisonous milk. She must be held responsible. The woman is like, well, I have no idea, right? I mean, there was no way that I could have possibly known that the milk I'm delivering is poisonous. So then who else? This is, well, it's eagle's fault. Then he says, well, eagle came and said, no, look, I have to feed myself. That is my dharma. To survive, I have to feed myself. Then they said, well, then the snake, it's your fault. Then snake said, no, how can you blame me? Right? I have to free myself. I don't want to die. Right? So I was just struggling just to free myself. So then it goes on. So it's not the woman's fault. It's not the snake's fault. It's not the eagle's fault. So whose fault is it? Can anyone imagine? Bill? That's a good thought, but maybe not. So, one of the wise individual on that committee said that, look, it's none of these people's fault. But while all this was happening, there were people watching. Right? And it's their fault because they didn't do anything. All the villagers, they were watching this scene happen. Right? And they didn't do anything. So a lot of times, we recognize that there is something that needs to be done. And just by virtue of having recognized that something needs to be done, it becomes our responsibility to do it. So we see the homeless and the hungry in Chicago. Right? Whenever we go back to India, we see the need to do something. Now, there is an opportunity. So I invite all of you on behalf of Seva International, the entire team, to join hands with the local team, Anilji Deshpande, Gurudatji, and Prakashji.